Nicola here, and I wanted to talk about something that's been coming up a lot this week. I know it's only Tuesday, but I wanted to share this with you because it feels really, really relevant and what so many of us spend a lot of our time and energy on, and that is preparing for the future. And so many of us have learned that the key to being a good person is being responsible. And part of being able to be responsible is being prepared, being ready to handle whatever might end up becoming our way. And so, what we can end up doing is being stuck in these cycles of worry that I am not going to be prepared for what's coming down the pike. And so, we get stuck in this either where we numb out and distract from looking at those fears and what we feel like we may not be prepared for. And an example of that is, let's say you want to go get a new job, but you're afraid of failing. Afraid of not getting an interview or not being hired, or if you are hired, not succeeding in this new role. And so the default is to not make any changes at all and to stay in a job where maybe you're not fulfilled, or maybe not go back into the workforce, or try the workforce for the first time if you're a teenager or young adult. And it can also manifest in creating a tremendous amount of anxiety where we feel this pressure to be prepared for all the things, but then that makes those things that we're choosing to do really unpleasant, really uncomfortable, because we're riddled with anxiety and worry. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this other thing happens? What if the consequences of my choice are so vast and so impactful that it creates all this other stuff that I'm then responsible for, right? Like, what if I am on a road trip with my kiddo, and rather than keep going, I decide to stop along the way, and my kiddo gets out of the car and he gets hurt and it ruins our whole trip. Well, now I'm responsible for that because I made a decision to make a stop along the way. Right. So like these are the games, and these are very, very subtle, usually unconscious patterns and belief systems and mind worries that we carry with us so often. And then we end up spending all this energy trying to figure it out. And then it really kind of drains any joy or fulfillment we might have from exploring the road trip with my son, or going out and getting a job that might be more in align with what we're doing, or choosing friendships or partnerships that are more aligned with who we are today and more uplifting. So we end up living in this kind of half in, half out existence where we're not really sure what's going on. And the reality of it is that there are so many permutations for how this can go that sorry. Sorry. Sorry, somebody came in the door. But what I'm, that there's too many permutations to even possibly imagine of all the things that could possibly happen. And so you will absolutely exhaust and tire yourself by trying to sort out which things you're going to be prepared for. And the truth of it is, and so here's the solution that I'm here to offer you today, which is, when we are faced with an obstacle, a challenging situation, something that is going to be difficult to maneuver with, right now in this moment, if I think about, what would I do if I was on a road trip and my son broke his leg? Um, it I don't know what I would do. Where will I be? What resources are around? What kind of situation is it in? What time of day is it? There's so many pieces. There's some basics that I think I would have access to as a trained doctor, but I might move into kind of a panic mode because my son is hurting and suffering. I don't know. I'm not the best in emergency situations. Just FYI. But the reality of it is that in that moment, if that were to happen, knock on wood, there will be resources available to me to assist me and my son and whoever else is in that scenario that don't exist right now in this moment, because I'm not in the future and I'm not in that situation. And so what happens is we get to take a deep breath and remember that everything that I need is right here in this moment. It's already here. And yes, I might need something different in 2 hours from now, but different things will be available to me 2 hours from now. Maybe someone would have been driving by on the highway. Maybe I have a cell phone that happens to have reception. Maybe I am, oh, like right now, I have a shovel in the back of my car because I've been doing a bunch of weeding. And so maybe I could break off the shovel of the handle shovel and make a splint for him so we can get him to where he needs to go. But what are the chances that I'm driving around with a shovel in the back of my car, right? So all of a sudden, there's so much more spaciousness that what I need to get through this next thing that may or may not be coming is will be provided for me, and we can really rest in that, and hopefully that can bring a sense of ease and peace that you can successfully navigate any situation that might come your way because you're always taken care of, and that it is beyond the mind in to understand what resources will come through. Can you think of any times where you had been in a situation where you're like, oh, thank goodness that X, Y, and Z happened, or that so and so was there, or that I was in this part of the country and not at that part of the country because then I was able to connect with this person who lives here and not there. There's so many examples of, when we look back in hindsight. And so, really, a key to having peace in every moment is having hindsight in the present moment, which is what hindsight, we look back and we're like, oh, see, that all worked out exactly as it was meant to work out. And we take a big breath and we laugh about how upset or how worried we were about X, Y, and Z unfolding the way it should. And then once the thing is over, it's like, oh, that went off without a hitch. And thank goodness this thing was an hour late because then that allowed me to do this other thing that created something else awesome. And so that is the gift, is realizing, is having that hindsight right here in this moment. So slow down, take a deep breath into your belly so you can calm that nervous system and give yourself a few moments to respond rather than react. So you want to really identify with, oh, I'm terrified that I'm going to screw this up, or I'm not going to do it the right way, or I'm not going to make the right choice. Okay, let me break a breath and be with that first, and then let me step in with, what next inspired step comes through. So I hope this helps for those of you who are feeling like your mind and your mental energy gets really pulled into future things that may or may not actually occur. And that's a good thing to remember as well, that, what I'm worrying about is potentially something that could come down, and it's not what's here right now. We come back to this present moment and we celebrate that everything that I need in this moment is here. Why wouldn't that be the case at any point in your future? Thank you so much for joining. Please let me know if you're feeling like you get stuck getting pulled into the future, or getting worried about things that may or may not be happening, or feeling like you do not have or will not have the resource that will be required to take care of things to the highest potential for everyone. And I will love to be in assistance with you. So that's what this community is for. Please feel free to comment below or reach out to me privately and we'll connect. Thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.